in now. If anyone joins in a minute, that's okay. Hi, everyone. So welcome to our webinar for this afternoon. So our offer information webinar. So this is for anyone who has an offer and isn't sure what to do next, or just wants a little bit more information, or you're about to get an offer and you just want to be prepared. So welcome. So my name is Charlotte. I work in our TAS Future Students team, and I'm joined by my colleague Rhiannon, who has kindly joined me today to help me drive the slides so that I can talk freely. So I think we're ready. So let's just jump in and get started so we can all get informed. So as always, we start with our acknowledgement of country, and we like to acknowledge the Palawa Pakana people of Lutruwita, the traditional owners of the land upon which we live and work here in Tasmania. We pay respects to elders past and present as the knowledge holders and the sharers of this land. We honour their strong culture and their knowledges as vital to the self-determination, the well-being and the resilience of their communities. So before we jump into the actual webinar, just a little bit of housekeeping. You'll see down the bottom of your page there that we have a little Q&A button. Please feel free to put your questions in there as we go throughout the presentation. You might find that we answer them as we go, which is fine. It's easier to use the Q&A than the chat, so please just do use the Q&A, and everyone will stay muted throughout the presentation. And just a little note that we can't answer anything today that is too specific. If it's something really specific to your situation, we're probably not going to be able to address that. But I'll have an email at the end if you want us to investigate your specific circumstances a little bit further. We'll be happy to do that, but happy to answer any questions that we can answer today. Alrighty, so what are we covering in today's webinar? So we're going to cover the process of receiving an offer and basically what happens next. So the types of offers that you can receive, your options of those offers, what it looks like for different kinds of applicants. And I've broken that down to our current Year 12 students who are receiving their schools recommendation program applications offers at the moment, and then all general adult learners, anyone outside of that Year 12 sphere. Conditions, what they look like, what to do, and then the next steps on the process. So starting out with finding your offers. So a lot of you might have already received your offers, which is fantastic. You've already got them. If you're waiting on an offer, you will get notified via email, just using the email address that you applied to. So you can follow the link in that email and you log back into the application portal that you submitted your application in. There's a little tab there that says offers, and you'll be notified for every offer that you've received. Now, it's really important to note here at UTAS, because we manage our own applications, we are able to offer you everything you're eligible for at once. So unlike interstate application systems where you might receive just your highest preference that you're eligible for, if you're applied for 5 courses at UTAS and you're eligible for all 5, you will get all 5. Which is great where it keeps your options open, but it can be a bit intimidating when you're not sure what to do with all of those 5 options. So you'll be able to respond to them each independently, which is the next step that you do. Now, our advice is if you've applied for a couple of courses to keep your options open because you're just not sure what you want to do, we recommend responding to everything as an accept, because that allows you to then choose which course you enroll into. I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in just a second. But for those of you who know exactly what you want and applied for that one course, absolutely, you're just going to respond to that one offer. If you apply for one course and a backup, please feel free to reject the backup if you've got the course that you want. But I'll touch on that in a second because I'll just show you what it looks like. So if you log back into your application portal, you'll have this beautiful green notification here of an offer. And then when you click on respond to the offer, you'll see them all listed on the page. So they look like this. So everything that you've received an offer to, so not necessarily everything you've applied for, but everything you've got an offer for will be on this page. And you will need to click respond to every single one of those offers. And when you click on that, it's a very simple process. You literally just choose how you'd like to respond. Your 3 options: accept, reject, defer. Now, if you accept the offer, it's no obligation that you have to enroll in that course. Like I said, it just keeps your options open. So when you do progress to the enrollment stage, every course you've accepted will be there waiting for you, and you choose which one to go into. If you've changed your mind about something you've applied to, or it was a backup plan, you can reject that offer if you definitely don't want it, or you can defer. Now, a quick note on deferrals: not every course can be deferred. Most of them can, But if it's generally the rule, a health course, a postgraduate course, and a few other little ones can't be deferred. If deferral is there on your response options, please feel free to select it. If it's not there, it means the course can't be deferred. Now, a deferral is for only 12 months. So if you have applied for February 2026, that means that you are accepting the offer, but you're just pushing it back 12 months to February 2027. If you're looking at taking a gap year or your circumstances are changed and you just can't study next February and you need that 12 months off, you are welcome to defer the offer. We will get in contact with you at the end of next year to say that you can now enroll in that course. It's as easy as that. If you're only looking for 6 months off, so maybe you just want to finish year 12, have a bit of a breather, work or travel for a little bit, but you think 12 months is too long to take off the study, and your course offers a semester 2 start, you would accept the offer and start with a semester 2 enrollment, which we can help you do later down the track. So that is for all of the generalist degrees like arts, science, business, education courses. There's a whole range of them with which you can do that. So if you're not too sure, you can always double check with us, give us a call and we can check for you, or you just check the course page, and if it lists semester 2, then you can do that. So if you want 12 months off, click defer. If you just want a little bit of a breather to start mid-year, you click accept. Okay. So this one is specifically for our year 12s who have joined us today. So why do we say to accept everything? There's a couple of reasons, and that is really the most important one is keep your options open, especially if you're still deciding or you're a bit like me and you change your mind every 2 weeks about what you want to do with your future. You've got those options on the table. If you reject something, you will have to reapply for it basically to get a new offer to it. So it's not the end of the world, but it makes life a lot easier. Accepting an offer means there's no obligation to enroll into it, and it also doesn't create any cost for you. There's no cost in study until you're enrolled in a unit in a course beyond census date, which is about 3 to 4 weeks into a semester. So there's no obligations and no cost here. You just choose which one to go on. If you're looking at applying for scholarships, scholarships cannot be deferred like a course can. So if you're not too sure about what your options are for next year, whether you're going to study or take a year off, we recommend accepting it and applying for your scholarships. And then if you get that scholarship, you know you can't defer it. So maybe that's what helps you make the decision about what to do next year. If you're definitely taking the year off and you've already booked your flights to Europe or whatever the case may be, you're deferring the course and you'll apply for your scholarships this time next year. Same as your accommodation applications will happen this time next year if you're deferring. Anyone who's not in year 12 who's here with us today, you can enroll earlier than the period that we set for year 12 students. So year 12 students, we wait until mid-December to open up your enrollments. If you've got an offer and you're not in year 12, then you can enroll basically as soon as we open enrollments. A little bit later in the year, you'll get lots of email notifications about that. And it's something that we can help you do. So it's not open just yet, but it'll be open soon, enrollments. Right, let's go to the next one. Quota courses. Okay, so there are some courses that are restricted to a quota, which means we have to limit the amount of students that can be admitted to that course. So medicine and paramedicine are big ones for this. If you're currently in year 12 and you have applied for those courses and they were your top preferences and you're worried that you haven't got an offer to medicine or paramedicine, please don't panic. There's a reason for that. And that is because we have to assess students for those courses based on their ATAR. So we will need to wait till December, get your ATAR results. We will start to be able to rank students and offers can go out from there. So if you're in year 12 and you haven't got your offer to that, that's why. If you're not in year 12 and you haven't got an offer to that course, it is because we haven't been able to admit students to that course yet because we are still in the assessment process. So these offers do tend to go out a bit later and they can take a while for the process to happen. Now, nursing and exercise and sports science are restricted to a quota, but we can do early offers to it. It just means we can't defer offers to those courses. So if you got an offer to nursing or exercise and sports science already and you're not sure what you want to do next year, you cannot defer it. You can accept it or you can reject it and reapply for it this time next year for the 2027 intake. All right, next one. Okay, so alternate offers are what can happen when you've applied for a course and we are unable to offer you a place in that course right now. And that is simply because you haven't met the entry requirements to that course. Now, your entry requirements are vary depending on the course you're applying for and your level of study that you've done. So if you can't meet the entry requirements based on what you've done previously, then we will offer you an alternate course. So most commonly, that's the University Preparation Program or the Diploma of University Studies. So they are the common ones that we offer for undergraduate courses. So if you're applying for a bachelor's degree and we can't offer you a place in that course, we'll be looking at those for you. So they're both 1 year programs. The minimum time frame, if you're studying full-time, it's 1 year. You've got up to 3 years to do it if you need to study part-time. You would study 8 units or subjects. And so for the University Preparation Program, all of those units are building up your skills that you need to succeed at university. For the Diploma of University Studies, you have 4 units at building up those university level skills of research, writing, project work, all of those sorts of skills that you need to succeed at uni. And you're also doing 4 units from your chosen pathway. So if you're looking at getting into a Bachelor of Science, you would do 4 units directly from the science degree and receive credit for those. So the point of these courses is they help you meet the entry requirements while getting a start on your degree as well. Now, if you're in year 12, we will have contacted you if you need a pathway based on the courses you've applied for the round 1 offers, and we will do the same in the next rounds as well. If you haven't received an offer to a course and you are in year 12, it's good to just double check these. Did you apply for a quota course? If it's medicine or paramedicine, no need to panic. We're just going to wait till we get your ATAR. If you haven't got an offer to anything, or you got an offer for two preferences and nothing for the other 2, it could be that we've tried to contact you about adding a pathway for the preferences we're unable to offer you a course to, an offer to. But remembering for all year 12 students, in the Schools Recommendation Program, we will offer you based on that recommendation that we receive in the early rounds. Anything you're not eligible for right now, we will put on hold and reassess you in December when we get your ATAR. So even if we've contacted you about a pathway for your Bachelor of Science, let's say, and even if you apply for that pathway and get an offer for it and accept it, we will still assess you for those remaining preferences on your ATAR at the end of the year. So it's really important to remember for year 12 students that you get that second chance. And it's also important to remember that accepting an offer now in these early rounds doesn't mean you can't get later offers, whether that be because you change your mind and add something else in, or we assess you on your ATAR in December. So you can continue to receive offers after you've accepted something. Alrighty, next one. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that you need to read your offer letter carefully, and that is because it will list conditions that you need to meet. Now, a condition is something that you have to meet before you can enroll in your course, and enrolling is a manual process of selecting your units that you wish to study within your degree. So foundation units are a very common condition in offer letters. Quite often they mean meeting the chemistry, physics, or maths requirement of that course, which in TASI sometimes includes physical sciences, but could be directly physics or chemistry and will be a level of maths as specified for that course. Now, if you are in year 12, your offer letter will state this, whether you're studying it or not, because we have not yet received confirmation that you've completed that unit. So we get that confirmation in December, at which point we will tick off that you've met that condition and allow you to enroll. If you are not in year 12 and you've got that condition on your offer letter, it could be that because you did chemistry, but you did it over 10 years ago when you're in year 12, and it's not relevant anymore, or you just haven't done it at all. So if you haven't done the subject that you need to do to be able to enroll in your course, you accept your offer to Bachelor of Marine and Antarctic Science or whatever the course may be, and you then need to add in a new preference into your application for a course called the Associate Degree in Science. The code, I've got it there on the slide there, is S2G. It's the easiest thing to type in to find it, and you apply for the January intake. That just allows you to enroll in the foundation unit or units that you need to do. There are intensives over summer that start in January in the new year and go for about 5 weeks, or you can do your units over semester 1 or semester 2 if you need a bit more time and you're happy to push back the start date of your degree. You cannot enroll in your course until you've met the unit, the conditions listed in your offer letter, which means if you did enroll in the January chemistry unit, let's say, and you didn't pass the unit, you'd need to try again over semester 1. And we can let you enroll once you've passed the unit. And we will advise you when that's done. So that's the big condition, is foundation units. So the next one that you might see, this one's quite specific. If we go to the next slide, is NARCAT. So this one's specific to students studying an education degree. So the Bachelor of Education or a Master of Teaching. It stands for the Non-Academic Capability Assessment Tool. It's 2 short answer questions around your motivations for becoming a teacher. It's assessed, however, by a third party. So we've set that as a requirement for entry into this course, and it has to be approved, your responses, before we can admit you to begin your enrollment. So the only reason I specifically mention this one is because it's managed by a third party and then sent back to us, it can take a while for that confirmation to be received by us. Sometimes it's very quick, depending on the volume being received though. Sometimes it can take a number of weeks. So it's just good to keep in mind that if you're waiting for an offer and you know you've applied for one of those courses, jump on and do your NARCAT as soon as you can. And if you've just received your offer and it does state that you need that in your conditions, jump on and do your NARCAT. Because then when enrollments do open, you are ready to go. You don't want to get to mid-December, go to enroll, realize you should have done this, have to do it, and then have to wait until mid-January before you can enroll. So this is one of those ones that's just better to get over and done with nice and early so there's no delays on your enrollment down the track. Okay, next question. Okay, so response and enrollment timelines. This one, again, is specific to some courses. So quota courses like nursing and postgraduate psychology, but also paramedicine and medicine, will have a deadline to accept and a deadline to enroll listed in your offer letter. So you must check that date and time carefully. If you don't meet those deadlines, we can withdraw the offer from you so that your place is now available for someone else who's on the wait list for that course, essentially. So if you're in the school's recommendation program and you've received an offer to, let's say, nursing, but you're waiting on a higher preference for medicine or paramedicine in December, or you're waiting for an offer from an interstate university, we recommend that you accept it, because remembering you don't have to enroll if you accept the offer. So if you accept it and then you get that preferred course, then you don't have to enroll in our nursing program, or you can withdraw from it if you wish to as well. So it's just keeping your options open. So there will be 2 deadlines listed. So just make sure you write them down if you've applied for one of those courses, just so you don't meet those at all. All right. So after accepting, what happens next? You click accept on your first offer, and then it will come through our system. Sometimes it takes 24 hours. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, depending on how many things you've accepted. Once you're in the system, in our system, that's when our enrollment processes can begin. And that starts with you receiving your login details, email address, ID, a passphrase, which is just a really long password, and your username. If you've got a condition that's preventing you being admitted to your course, this can delay you receiving your login details as well. So if you haven't done your NARCAT, we could be waiting until you get that. But once you're admitted to at least one course, these will be sent through to you. So once you get those logins on the UTAS webpage, there's just on the homepage, you just press login and you can access what's called the student portal. This is your first point for everything as a current student. And it's the first thing I recommend that students explore, even before enrollment's open, just to get familiar with the systems. From there, you can access your enrollment, your timetable when the time comes, Milo, which is My Learning Online. That's what that stands for. And then any support you need, like if you wanted to make an appointment with a student advisor because you've got a complex issue with your enrollment, or you're looking to apply for credit, or you just need a support like a counselling appointment, or you need a learning access plan, whatever it may be, all of that is available through the student portal, and you can get started on all of that straight away. And then it also gives you access to eStudent, which is just like admin. It's your enrollment and it's your fees. So you'd start that a little bit later. It's a good idea to start checking your UTAS emails after you accept an offer, whether you're ready for enrollment or not, because any important communications will start to go directly to that email. At the moment, once a week is fine. As we get closer to enrollments and timetables and all of that starts looming on the horizon towards the end of the year, start checking in a little bit more often, just so you're not missing any important updates. Once you are a current student any communications from your teachers and your academic staff will go to that UTAS email as well. So it's just good to get it familiar with the process more than anything. Right. So what's next on the horizon? Scholarships and accommodation applications are all open now as well. So if you've got your offer and you know you need to move to Launceston, now's a good time to start looking at accommodation, and scholarships are open now. Most scholarships close on the 31st of October, but not all of them, but a lot of them do. Every scholarship will have its own distinct closing date, and there's no flexibility on those dates. We do not accept late applications. So it's good to start early, to start looking at what scholarships you're eligible for and applying for as many as you want to, just making sure you're meeting those deadlines. Some of them are open till January, some of them are open till December, but it's good to keep the end of October in your mind because that's when most of them will close. Then we can start doing enrollments. So I mentioned before that anyone not in Year 12 can enroll a little bit earlier, but for students in Year 12, we have a middle of December date for enrollments. And we run enrollment days on each of our campuses. You will be able to register, not just yet, they're not open for registrations, but when the registration opens on the website, you can register to come along for a time slot. You get one-on-one assistance with your enrollment, with choosing your subjects, with going through your electives and all of that. And we have lots of support available on the day outside of just that administration of just enrolling. So Cradle Coast on the 17th of December, Hobart and Sydney, we're doing both of those on the 18th of December, and then Launceston on the 19th. So people outside of Year 12 are welcome to come to that, but your enrolment opens earlier. You might choose instead to give our contact team centre a call. They can help with anything on the spot, like live help with enrollments and fees and all of those sorts of questions. And you can also walk into any of our libraries and meet with some of our staff in person as well, if that works more for you. Once you're enrolled, and a little bit after that, we open up timetable selection. So if you're an on-campus student, you'll be able to choose which class time you like and create your timetable. And then after that, you start to do orientation and then semester starts and you're ready to go and you've started your first semester either ever or you're returning first semester. If you're a postgraduate student, perhaps, or this isn't your first degree. And we all start in the mid of February and then semester starts. So what have I got on the next slide? Oh, just how to get in touch with us. Okay, cool. So if you're looking for that immediate response help for your enrollments or accepting your offers, or you have questions about your conditions or whatever it may be, please give our team a call. I've got the number there. It's 138827 and they will be able to help. Or you can email directly to course.info@utas.edu.au. If you're a Year 12 student with questions about your SRP application, it's better to go directly to the future.students@utas.edu.au. And the availability there is just for the call centre. So I might just double check with the Q&A questions that we've got in here. So do we have any uni prep program leading to medicine if someone doesn't get a medicine offer after Year 12? So medicine is a very competitive course, as I am sure you understand. Entry to medicine is via two pathways, directly from Year 12 or with a completed degree. So completing the university preparation program doesn't make you eligible for an offer into medicine, but it would make you eligible for an offer into one of those bachelor programs that you could do. So you could do the recommended pathway at the moment is the Bachelor of Biomedicine. So you could look at doing a pathway into the Bachelor of Biomedicine, then complete the 3 years of biomedicine, and then you can apply for medicine from there. So that is the only way to get into medicine if you can't get in directly from Year 12. Year 12 with your ATAR or a completed degree. So the UPP or the DUS is going to lead you into your bachelor's degree that would then get you into medicine. Hope that answers that question for you. When are reading lists for units released? That's a really good question. It depends on the unit itself and how that unit is run within the course. You can do a bit of a deep dive on the website. So if you go to your course on the website page and you go to the course structure and you can open up a specific page for every individual unit within that degree. Some of them will list some readings, not all of them though. So it is a bit of a gamble there. It's always a good idea to do that anyways, to familiarize yourself with the outline of the unit that you're going to be studying. So some of them will list that, but primarily most of them will become available in February before semester 1 begins. So you'll get access to your units in Milo. So that was that Learning Online program that I mentioned before. And you'll get a unit outline for every unit that you study. And your unit listings, required and recommended listings, are listed in there. So there is a chance you might not actually have access to that listing until the start to the middle of February. First come, first serve apply to accommodation applications. As a general rule, I'm going to say very broadly yes, but it does depend on what kind of accommodation you're applying for as well. It is one of those ones where the earlier you can get it in, the better, is what my recommendation would be, especially if you're applying for the more competitive accommodation, because some is more competitive than others. Some of them we can assess on a bit of a longer term because they're looking for more people to fill up those rooms and things like that. But it's good to get in as early as you can, even if you're not 100% sure you want that accommodation or you're definitely going to relocate. It's just good to get in so you've got that option on the table.
I might just jump in, Charlotte, as well,
Yeah.
and say you do need to have accepted your offers before you will be issued with any accommodation offers. So that's really important as well.
Thank you. I forgot that. Thank you, Raymond. How do online classes work? Okay, so if you are doing, I'm just going to choose a random course, a Bachelor of Business, and a single unit can be done either online or in person. You are all doing the same content. You are all doing the same unit. You will have the same progression through the weeks, the same assignments, the same deadlines, the same teaching staff, and all of that. The way online classes work is that you don't have to physically attend a classroom. You will have all lectures are recorded, and so you can watch those online, and you can watch that at any time after they're available on Milo. You may have a Teams or a Zoom class that you can attend like this to get through your coursework instead of attending a physical classroom. They might be compulsory, they might be optional. They're quite often optional as an online student. And then all of your other content is just done online. You might be chatting in forums, or you might have like an online group project that you have to do where you have to communicate with other people in a way that you as a team make work for you. It could be fully solo. It does vary, but basically you're with the exact same as an on-campus student, just without going to class. You are doing it all online. So it doesn't mean that you can just go through the content at your own pace and take your time. You're still restricted to the timelines of the semester with the due dates as exactly the same as the on-campus students. Same teaching staff. So if you need an extension for an assignment, same process works. You contact the unit coordinator and request that extension, et cetera, et cetera. Are there any negatives of starting a course in semester 2 compared to a semester 1? No. If the course allows a semester 2 intake, then it has been designed in a way that you can do it without any disadvantage. The only thing to look at is if you're doing a 3-year degree and you're starting in February, 3 blocks and you're done. It's the same thing, but you're pushing it, so it's going to be a bit more staggered, if that makes sense. So you're finishing 6 months later than if you'd started in February. That's the only really thing to keep in mind, is that you're just sort of doing things in a slightly different order. We wouldn't allow you to do it in that order though, if it didn't make sense, if you couldn't get through the course content. So there's no negatives. It's just a slightly different way of studying, and we wouldn't allow it if it wasn't eligible to finish the course that way. If you really need a break between study, or you just have realized that you have got way too much on in semester 1 and you think you're going to be in a better place to start in semester 2, please do it that way, as long as your course allows, because the more mentally prepared you are, the better it's going to be, and the more you're going to enjoy your course content. You're enrolling in Hobart and you currently live in New South Wales. Absolutely, you can go along to the Sydney enrolment session. In Sydney, we offer nursing and paramedicine, but anyone who is working out of the Sydney campus can offer the same enrolment support. So even if you're doing something like a Bachelor of Marine and Antarctic, they'll be able to help you through that process. So yes, please, if enrolling help is preferable in person for you, please come along to the session. We would love to be able to help you in that way. It doesn't matter what campus you're going to. The same as if you live in Hobart and you're relocating to Launceston or any other of the Tasmanian campuses, you can go to any campus for that enrolment support, not just the one that you intend to study at. It's a really good question. If my course states that the major is only available in Hobart or online, but my course is based in Launceston, will my classes be in Hobart? I'm going to assume you are looking at something like a Bachelor of Arts, Science or Business here, but I might be wrong. In that instance, then the major that you're looking at, the classes will be physically in Hobart, yes, for those units. So you could choose to enroll online and travel for your classes each week that appear to that are allocated for the Hobart campus. Students do that, or just for those units, you could choose to be an online student and then you enroll in your remaining electives or core units in Launceston. You can definitely do that. You can, each unit you enroll in, as long as there's multiple study options available, you can choose. So you could do 3 units in Launceston, 1 online, if that's what works for you. Once you get your timetable, you'd be able to have a look and see how much travel that actually does require. But that's up to you really to decide. But yes, if your major is only showing one location, but the course is available in another, that means that you will be split across both. I hope that made sense the way I answered that one. Where to apply for the foundation unit? Yes. Okay. Thank you for double checking this one. So back in your application portal where you've got your offers, you just need to go to the preferences tab and search for S2G, the associate degree in science, and add it to your list. If you've already got 5 preferences, you'll need to delete one, and you can accept it or reject it or whatever, and then delete it, and then add that one in. If you've got 4 or less, then it will just be in there in your preference list. Submit those changes and then just wait for that offer to come through. Once the offer for the associate degree comes through, you can then enroll in the foundation unit. So that's just the course that holds all of the foundation units. So you're applying for it. You don't have to complete a full associate degree. It's just what we've listed the foundation units under. So that one back in the application portal. And what does the SRP take into account? So at the moment, this is our final question that I've got here. So if you've got any more, please do put them into the Q&A. The SRP takes into account lots of different things. So that is the school's recommendation program for Year 12 students. It is based on a recommendation that your school sends directly to us. And it looks at things like numeracy and literacy, but it also looks at how you are working as a student overall. So it's going to look at your time management skills, your commitment to study. It's going to have a look at your, Rhiannon, jump in if I'm forgetting any of these here because I'm blanking at the moment what else there is. Time management.
Interested in engagement in learning.
Collaborative skills. Yep.
Yeah.
And that, yeah. So basically it looks at you as a student as a whole rather than the raw marks that you're getting at the end of the year in your ATAR. So all of those skills put together, how you work with other people, do you manage a time load, do you juggle work and school, do you ask questions in class, do you hand your homework in, et cetera, is what leads to you getting your ATAR mark. So it's you as an overall student. So that's what we are looking at rather than just a single number to judge you on. And so we then take that recommendation, put it through, the admissions team put it through the system and can offer you offers based on that recommendation. Sometimes we take a little bit more information like your year 12, year 11 results if we need it, but it is primarily based on that recommendation that your teachers give. Any offers you don't get through the SRP is then reassessed on the ATAR at the end of the year. Can you apply for accommodation during the foundation unit's January summer intensive period? That's a really good question. Rhiannon, are you aware of when the start date of accommodation is?
My understanding is it should actually be able to be applied for now because students are accepting their offers now. That may be worth a little bit of a follow-up though. We don't have a hard and fast date for that one. It is certain that you must have accepted your offers to your courses before you will get an offer for accommodation. But that would be worth us following up for you, that one.
Yeah. I'm just going to send this one through because, I think it's worth us double checking that specifically with the accommodation team to make sure that we've got the most accurate answer. And then Neve's got a question here. If I do accept an offer, can I defer after if plans change? Yes, you can. You just need to contact us directly, so you won't be able to change the offer in your application portal. But if you contact us, either via the future.students email or the course.info email, let us know your application number and which course it is and that you want to change it to a deferral. We can do that for you as long as it's a course that can be deferred, of course. If any more questions coming in, please pop them in now. But otherwise, I'm going to assume that we answered everything. I'd like to add one more little detail. For anyone who's applying interstate, whether that be Year 12 or outside of Year 12, accepting offers at UTAS won't jeopardize any offers you're getting interstate that you're looking at. And that includes for medicine as well. So one of the reasons why we can say accept all your offers to keep your options on the table is because it's not going to jeopardize any future offers that you might get at UTAS or elsewhere. So I just did forget to mention that because I know some people do get a bit anxious about applying across different states and how that can affect each other. But just want to reiterate that the best thing to do is to accept your offers because then you've got the most options that you have available to you.
I would just say as well, for anyone considering perhaps rejecting some offers, please just do be aware if you do reject your offers and then some time passes and you do decide that actually you would like to take up that offer, that's not necessarily a guarantee that we would be able to reinstate that offer. So please just do be mindful when you are rejecting any offers that you are quite confident that you definitely don't want to take up that offer in the future.
And will we get an email if we don't get accepted with the SRP? So just thinking about the best process for this one. So mostly what will happen during the SRP period, because we've got 3 rounds, we've just had round 1 and there'll be 2 more coming. If we're unable to give you an offer to your chosen course, then we would be contacting you directly. So you might get an email from me or Rhiannon or someone else in our team to advise you the best pathway for you to apply for. And that's an optional process that you can do. And so we're saying that we can't give you an offer to your bachelor degrees that you've applied for, but if you want to put in this pathway as a backup plan, you can get an offer for that now. And if it ends up being the best pathway for you into a degree, then you've got that in your back pocket. But not necessarily will you get an email to say you haven't been accepted at this stage because we're still going to be able to wait for your ATAR assessment. Come December, that is when you would be notified specifically that we're unable to give you an offer into a bachelor's degree, and the pathway would be provided at that point. So it just depends where in the process it falls. So students, we've just done round 1. We have contacted some students and recommended those pathways. Some of them choose to do it, some of them don't. If they receive a pathway, if they do put in that pathway preference and they receive an offer to it and accept it, we are still going to assess them for everything on the ATAR at the end of the year. What is the last date for SRP offers? Not for a little bit yet. So applications are still open for, we'll be looking at round 3 now. So we've offered for round 1, applications have closed for round 2, and we'll be moving on to round 3. So if you have your, if you get your application in now, we'll be assessing you for the 3rd round, which is in October.
4th of October is when round 3 closes, and round 3 offers, I believe, go out on the 31st of October.
Cool. So if you apply before that early October date, then you'll be considered for the final round of the early offers. Anything received after that closing date, we'd be looking at ATAR only. Can you get into a bachelor course after completing a diploma of university studies? Yes, for most courses, as long as the course that you want to do allows about diploma of university studies as entry. An example for one that wouldn't would be medicine, primarily. But for most other courses, the diploma of university studies is the best pathway. So when we look for entry into a course, we look at the highest level of study that you've done. So that may be your year 12 results or the school's recommendation program. It may be that you've done TAFE. It may be that you've done prior university study of some level. Most courses, if you check on the website under the entry requirements tab, it will say for students with a tertiary background is what it might, something like that, prior tertiary studies, it will say completed diploma of university studies. As long as it says that, then it's 100% eligible for entering into that course. Can we apply for a double major? So a major, you can enroll into a double major. So in something, let's say a Bachelor of Arts, just keeping it nice and general, you just apply for the Bachelor of Arts as a whole. And when you do your enrollment process, you allocate your major. So let's say you want to do history, you tell the system history and it puts all the history units in for you. And then you'll have to go through and choose the units for your second major and you just align it with the rules of that major. So if you wanted to do philosophy, you would be choosing the correct philosophy units there. So you don't have to declare your major or a double major during the application period. That's all done later on during your enrollment periods. If you wanted to apply for a double degree, so doing science and arts together as 2 degrees at the same time, you do that during the application process. Yes. Okay. We're doing the diploma be guaranteed entry into the bachelor. It depends on the bachelor that you're intending to apply for. So if you have a look at the Diploma of University Studies page on the website, so you can type that in, it's very long, or you can Google UTAS 21A, A for Apple, that's the course code, or UTAS Diploma of University Studies. You get to the course page and you go down to the entry requirements. And then beneath the entry requirements, there's a little tab that says articulation, and it will list whether that specialization gives you guaranteed entry or if it just meets the entry requirements. So it just depends on the one that you're going into. For most of them, it does, but for some of them, it's not guaranteed. An example of not guaranteed entry using the diploma would be if you wanted to go into paramedicine. So you have to check that, and it does state it on the website, whether it's guaranteed and how much credit it provides into the bachelor's degree as well. So go to the Diploma of University's course page, scroll down beneath the entry requirements and find articulation, and your answer will be there. Once we receive an offer, how long do we have until we accept? If you have an offer that has a deadline on it, like nursing, paramedicine, medicine, for example, postgraduate psychology, you need to meet that deadline. If there's no deadline specified, technically you have about 12 months before you have to do anything with it. So at that point, you could accept it on the 20th of February with the classes starting on the 21st, but keeping in mind, it takes a few days to go through the system and then you have to enroll and choose your timetable and you're leaving things very late. So the earlier you respond to your offer, the more you can prepare yourself. But if you're, again, like looking for other options or you just need more time, please feel free to take the time that you need to accept your offer and make sure you're doing exactly what you want. Or you can just accept everything and then decide later what you're doing. It's totally up to you. But as long as you don't have a deadline specified in your offer, you've got up to 12 months. Can I do a diploma and defer a bachelor until the following year? So if you've got an offer you can do multiple options in your response if this is what you mean. So if you've got an offer to a diploma and an offer to a bachelor's, you could defer the bachelor for 12 months and accept the diploma. So you can enroll in a diploma over 2026 and then don't have to reapply for the bachelor's degree. If that's what you mean, then absolutely you can do that because then you don't have to go through the application process again next year for the bachelor's degree. Please let me know if that's not what you meant. Is veterinary and Antarctica science unable to be done in a double degree? We can check that online. So there's a double degrees page where you can put all your combinations together and it can tell you what can be done with what and what can't be part of a double degree. I can't remember off the top of my head if it can be done in a double degree, but I think it can. We can double check that for you. If you just give me a minute, I can double check it. Can you accept multiple offers and withdraw later? Yes, you can. So you can accept up to 5 offers. Choose which one to withdraw, enroll in and just withdraw from the others. Or if you accept an offer and then there's no enrollment for over 12 months, you'll be automatically withdrawn from those courses anyways. So it's up to you whether you care about them sitting there in your e-student or not. But yes, you can definitely do that. You can accept and change your mind, or you can just email us and say, request to be withdrawn and specify the courses you want to be withdrawn from. And we can do that for you as well. Okay.
Just jumping in as well, it does look like the Bachelor of Marine and Antarctic Science can be doubled with specific courses.
Sure.
The ability of a course to become a double degree very much just comes down to the elective space in that degree, because basically to get 2 degrees in less time than it would to do them individually, you're essentially taking away your elective space, your free choice subject space, and squishing into it the core units of another degree. So it seems to be that at least with a Bachelor of Arts, the Bachelor of Marine and Antarctic Science can be doubled there.
Lovely. I'm just going to send the course to you, Phoebe, that you can apply for. It allows you to do your marine Antarctica science with something else. So it's just called double degree, but the code is X3Y, which is always the easiest way to search for something.
Sorry, Charlotte, I think you're still on mute.
Thank you. Sorry, I had to cough before. Thank you. Okay, so you've received an offer and it's stated that you need to meet any subject prerequisites outlined, etc., etc., etc. Does this mean you don't need to do any prereqs? Okay, so there's some general text that's in like every single offer letter, and that sounds like pretty general text. And so then it would be saying you need to meet everything outlined. And then if it doesn't, then also beneath that say you have to meet chemistry, then there's no subject prerequisites. You can always double check the course and make sure that whether it has prerequisites or not. So the only courses really that we require prerequisites from is if they fall into an area of science or an area of health, so science, tech, and health. And then not every course within that requires you to have a subject prerequisite. So if you're applying for something like a Bachelor of Arts, no, you won't have any subject requirements that you need to do. If you're applying for something like a Bachelor of Engineering, yes, will need to meet the requirements and they'll be listed in your offer letter. So if you're applying for something where you don't have any subject prerequisites you need to meet, then you still need to complete Year 12 as a Year 12 student. And so that means final participation, assessment tasks, going to class, finishing Year 12. You can't just drop out of Year 12 now and still be eligible for an offer. You still need to meet the requirement of completing Year 12. So I'm assuming that's just that general text that's in there. So if there's nothing specific mentioned like chemistry, then you don't need to worry about it. When we'll find out offers regarding medicine, mid-December onwards. Medicine go out in specific rounds, so we will send out a large bulk round, and everyone who receives an offer in that first round will have to meet the deadline. If you don't meet that deadline for accepting the offer or you reject it, then we can move that on to the next person on the list. It is the general rule is if we send you something to say that you're not into medicine and that you need to do a pathway or you're not eligible for an offer at this point, then you're not getting an offer. If you haven't heard anything, it just still means you're on that wait list. So medicine offers go out progressively until the course is full or until semester starts in February. So they are very last minute offers to medicine going out. Keeping in mind, we now have medicine available at Hobart, Launceston and at the Cradle Coast campus. So there's a few more places available this year. But yeah, it can be a bit of a waiting game, unfortunately, but mid-December onwards. Do you meet the physical sciences prerequisite by doing a physics foundation course? Yes. So for physical sciences, generally you can meet it by doing physics or chemistry, as long as the course that you're doing, allows those subjects to be met. So again, in the entry requirements, it will specifically list what you need to do. But yes, if you're doing the physics foundation course, it's generally going to meet the physical sciences requirement. These are really good questions. I haven't got anything else in there. I'll just hang around for a minute in case anything else comes in. Oh. How do you know whether to apply for the 5 or the 4-year double degree? So the 5-year one is if you want to combine it with law or agriculture, because they're slightly longer courses. If you want to combine it with anything else, then it's the 4-year course. So 5-year is only if you wanted to do marine and Antarctic and law, marine Antarctic and agriculture. So you're probably looking at the 4-year one there. If I already have a chemistry prayer, can I use that instead of physics? If you're unsure whether what you have is eligible, especially if you've done it outside of UTAS, I would recommend you send an email to course.info@utas.edu.au and they can double check that. So that's the website that's on the slide there. Sorry, the email address on the slide. They can check that with our admissions team. So we know that our foundation unit for chemistry meets our requirements for chemistry or physical sciences, but we need to check the coursework of something done elsewhere to make sure it meets the requirement for what our courses say that you need for chemistry as a foundation. So if you've done it elsewhere and you want to double check, send it through and have the admissions team check it for you, because that's the only way to get any confirmation. I can't let you know yay or nay because it depends where it was done. Okay. So if you've received a second offer through the recommendation program, but you're still waiting for medicine, should you accept or wait till you find out about medicine? I would accept because there's no obligation to enroll. And that's just the general advice, but it's totally up to you. Accepting it is in no way going to jeopardize your consideration for medicine, because if you're eligible for medicine, you'll get that anyways. It just keeps your options open. If you know you're definitely not ever going to enroll in that backup plan, you can reject it if you want to, if it's medicine or nothing, or you can have it in your back pocket just in case. Like I said, if you reject the offer and then change your mind and want it back, you'll have to reapply for it. So that's the only consideration to keep in mind there, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with accepting it. It's always our advice because we always want you to have as many options as you can, and to make things easier for you down the track. If you accept it, then you get your offer for medicine. All you do is accept medicine and roll in that one, and you can just pretend the other one doesn't exist or withdraw from it formally. So I haven't got any more questions coming in, but that doesn't mean that people aren't busily typing them. So we'll stay for a couple more minutes for anything else coming in. But other than that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has attended today. I hope you feel a little bit more confident about your offers and a little bit more sure what to do with your next steps. It can be very exciting, but it can also be very daunting receiving offers, especially when there's multiple offers on the table. So thank you so much for coming along, everyone, today. I'll stay along for a few more minutes for any more questions coming in the chat. But that's the end of the formal webinar. But yes, thank you everyone for coming. Any questions that haven't been in the chat already, or you think are a bit more specific for your circumstances, please send them through on email or give us a call, and we'll want to make everyone as informed as possible. Will we be at the open days, Phoebe's asked? Absolutely, we will. We will definitely be at all campuses. So we've got Hobart this Sunday, and then followed by Launceston on the 21st. And the date for the Cradle Coast is TBC, but we will definitely be there. I'm not too sure what our little marquee is called, but we are sprinkled around everywhere. I know that for sure. So you'll be able to find us. And we can do application help on the spot as well. So if you want us to actually look at your application, we'll be able to do that, or we can just ask general questions.
So Sandy Bay campus and Launceston, our future students team will be based in the library, and we will have contact centre staff there as well, for extra application support as well. We will also have a presence at the medical science precinct in the city in Hobart as well. If you would like to come along and do your application on the day, we are more than happy to assist you with that.
Thank you, Rhiannon. She knows so much more about the nitty gritty than I do. Lovely. Okay. I'm just going to pop myself on mute, and then if any questions come in, I'll be able to answer them. But thank you again, everyone, for attending. Can't see any more questions coming in. It looks like everyone's leaving. So that's all good. For the few people left, thank you again. Enjoy your evening. Thanks for coming along. And if you have any questions, please just get in touch with us by phone or email. Thanks, everyone.